let me tell you something, man. So I thought I was going to get off of this cult leader stuff, right? Until I came across, or let me say this, YouTube recommended a video to me by Natureboy. And I said to myself, you know what? Let me see what this dude is doing these days, right? So it's a channel. I don't know the person's channel, whatever. This particular person, they take videos off of Instagram, Natureboy's Instagram, and they cut it up and they, like, you know, combine it into one video, right? So the video was like 3 hours long. I wasn't going to look at the video that long. I'm not interested in Natureboy like that. You understand? But what I will say is that every now and then I do videos and I need some type of, you know, information on him. And then also on top of that, I'm not going to front. It's pure entertainment to me. Like sometimes I know he's serious about what he's saying and what he's doing, but it's funny to me. It's funny to me. I don't laugh with him. I laugh at him. You understand? So this particular video, you know what I'm saying, collage of videos, I guess, you know, it's like 3 hours long. One part, he's like, you know, you no longer, he's yelling at the women that follow him. You no longer, y'all are not the chiefess, you know, I'm the chief and I'm the chiefess. And then it cuts on to another part where he has a transgender being the chiefess. Now, I don't have anything against transgenders or the alphabet community. I don't. I'm just trying to show you all the inconsistencies of Natureboy, or what he calls himself, 3 God, you know, nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So then he says, you know, this, you know, transgender is, you know, the chiefess, and I'm gay and blah, 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 blah. And it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, now he's really coming out. Like, I mean, I always knew that, and then we always knew that he was, you know, Fruity Pebbles and shit, you know what I'm saying? But nowadays he's coming out, you know what I'm saying? And it's, society is making it so that these people that once were in a closet, they're coming out, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the ones that said that they were heterosexual, but knew that they weren't. You understand? So it clips to another part where he's dancing in the rain with a ski mask on, bare-chested, sweats, and no socks. Him and the dudes that follow him. And they're like doing it, feminine dances. And I'm like, it just gets weird. And then I cut the shit off. You understand? I just don't. This is what I don't understand. This is 2022. How in the hell are you still following people? Straight up. Now I can understand as far as dealing with Carmination, the women in Carmination, following, you know what I'm saying, Natureboy 3 God. You understand? I can understand that. They don't have a father figure at home, you know what I'm saying, they're young as hell, and they come into a dude that makes them come. And that, I don't know, gives this facade of what a man is, and they accept it. They're young. And it's just that plain and simple. For those men that have fucked young girls, you all know where the fuck I'm coming from. And I ain't talking about young girls like 17. I'm talking about young women. That's what I'm saying. Like in the early 20s. And you're older. If you make a broad come, that bitch is gonna go crazy. Straight up. So this is the first type of dick that these boys ever got. I understand how they could stick with him, stay with him, even though he beating their asses and shit. I understand it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. But far as dealing with the men, most men, if they have mental problems, if they going through something, you know what I'm saying, such as the women going through, you know, not having, I'm pretty sure that all them women don't have a father, or never had a father figure in their lives. No one to kind of school them on these type of men that Natureboy, Dr. Malachi, z.york, Polite, Dr. Umar Johnson, Young Pharaoh are. You understand? I could get that part. But when it deals with the men, you understand? I don't understand how these dudes are submissive. Like, when dudes have mental problems or going through some things, they they get emotional and they show their emotions in a different way. And that different way, of course, is when you see it on the news, such and such shot such and such, or such and such got robbed and such sold drugs and shit like that. But it's never to the point where men follow other men in that manner that they're following Natureboy in. Now I know what you all are gonna say. You're gonna say, well, damn, Langston, didn't you follow Dr. Malachi Z.York? Yes, I did. But I wasn't in Dr. Malachi Z.York's presence. I didn't live on the land. You understand? I was part of a bookstore. And we followed him. Indirectly, but not direct. You understand? Had Dr. Malachi Z.York said something like, told us something like Natureboy told his fucking man that in the carbonation, oh, you gonna cut your hair just like mine, I would have told him to fuck off. Literally, yo, fuck off, man. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not looking like you. I never liked Dr. Malachi Z.York style. Never. I thought his style was corny as shit. And this is the reason why I never try to be like him in that way. But you had people in the bookstore and other bookstores that had their hair braided when Dr. Malachi Z.York had braids, had their hair braided like him, had their edge up like him, who wore glasses like him. All that shit, dressed like him and all of that shit. I wasn't a part of that cult to be like someone's replica. You understand? So the thing of it is with me, man, yeah, true indeed, I was part of that cult. But I didn't necessarily do whatever Dr. Malachi Z.York or the cult members in our bookstore told me to do. You know what I'm saying? I was always really defiant, questioning every fucking thing. So when I saw that these guys were getting haircuts like Natureboy and doing whatever the fuck he tells them to do, I'm like, man, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? This is a new day and time. This is 2022. And you have access to the internet. And you can look up these people and see that they're not God. That they have a criminal record, a criminal background that states the opposite. I just don't understand. If you look at God as being omnipotent, all-knowing, all-powerful, how in the fuck can your God be in jail or in the case of Natureboy, went to jail at one time? How could your God get fucked? How could your God let a white man fondle him on camera? Like Natureboy did. Or has. That shit don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I continue to say this. I'm not trying to justify when I was part of the cult called the Nubian Nation. But what I am saying is that when I was part of it, they didn't have the internet. I didn't know anything about Dr. Malachi Z.York. His background, his young adult life, him being born, all of this shit was a mystery to me. Had I known that this motherfucker was charged for, what is it? What do they call it when you had sex with a minor? I forgot the name of it, but he had one of them charges. When he was 17, 18 or something like that. Had I known about that, had I known he went to jail for a zip gun and, he's been in and out of jail and this and that and so forth. In other words, if I knew his criminal record, I would have never followed him. How can God have a criminal record? I just don't get it. I just don't understand Nubians these days. Or rather, should I say Sabians these days? How can your God be in fucking jail? And if you don't say he's God, then let's just say this. How can your master teacher of the universe, because I've heard you all say that. How can your teacher that claims that he's from the planet Risk and that he's one of the 24 elders and he could command ships, shams, to descend on the planet Earth, how is he still in jail? I'm just trying to understand. And I continue to ask these questions. And the Wahabians, or rather the Sabians, continue to dodge these questions that I'm asking. They never seem to come up with any type of answers. And I just don't understand it. That your master teacher said it. He has the barotheric gland, you know what I'm saying, which activates the four higher senses, which is intuition, telepathy, clairvoyance, and psychometry. And I'm just trying to understand, before Dr. Malachi z.york got caught by the cops, shouldn't he had used one of those senses, higher senses, called intuition, and known that, oh shit, I'm about to get arrested, and left or left the country? I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to understand that a person that says that he has over 76 trillion years of knowledge, right? This is what he says in his doctrine, Dr. Malachi z.york, that is. How do you get caught by the cops? How do you have a lawyer? How is that? I'm trying to understand it. How do you have a lawyer? Please let me know. You got over 76 trillion years of knowledge. You should be able to represent yourself in court and win. But you didn't. You lost with a lawyer. Or should I say you played out? It's crazy to me. 2022. We still have these fucking clowns that people follow. Natureboy has literally came out of the closet. Straight up. He's not hiding anymore. And it's crazy to me that most of these men, if you really look into their library that we don't see, I'm telling you, you'll probably find a book, or books, plural, several books that were written by Aleister Crowley. Most of these cult leaders practice what Aleister Crowley said: do what thou wilt. Straight up. I wouldn't be shocked if Natureboy says that he practices bestiality. There's nothing that shocks me anymore when it comes to these cult leaders. Straight up. What's most shocking are the peoples that follow him. And that kind of, I don't know, they have to make up in their mind, like, I don't know, how do they justify the actions of Natureboy when he contradicts himself over and over and over again? I looked at that video for 3 hours, not the full length of it. I think I looked at it out of 3 hours. I skipped, and I probably a total of 15 to 20 minutes. And then I went on to another video that was about 3 hours, and I was just skip, and looked at it for about 15, 20 minutes. So in total, I say about 10 hours worth of videos. You know what I'm saying? I probably looked at about 30 to 45 minutes of 10 hours worth of videos. But I managed to like skip and hit the most important parts of all of those videos. I saw when he pushed Malia down. I saw when Malia got smacked. I seen where Solar got smacked. I saw where he's smoking weed and just doing all types of shit. It's no longer, he used to be on some shit like come out of Babylon and get Babylon, come out of Babylon and don't do drugs, don't smoke weed, don't drink, and this and that and so forth. And now he's doing everything that he told people not to do. That's one thing about cult leaders, man, that I realized, because I used to be in a cult, that, if you really pay attention to what Natureboy is saying, and Malachi Z.york and Young Pharaoh and Dr. Umar, they always going to contradict themselves. They always going to do that. That's one thing that they're consistent on doing. They're always going to contradict themselves. Straight up. One day, Dr. Malachi Z.york will say he's God. Next day, he say he isn't. One day, Dr. Malachi Z.york will say he ain't no Christian and he don't believe in Jesus Christ. The next day, he says, I'm getting saved. I'm saved and my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ. They're always going to contradict themselves no matter what. Straight up. All you got to do is just wait for it. You know what I'm saying? Let them do all the talking and eventually they're going to fucking contradict themselves. And according to, you know, the definition of God is, he's perfect. So how are you God and you constantly contradicting yourself? I don't get that. I don't understand that. Man, you know, we got who come out with these videos and we'll say, man, the white man did a thing on our race. Man, let me tell you something for real, man. I really truly believe that the white man really didn't do but so much to us in comparison to what we've done to one another. Straight up. That's real talk. That's real talk. In 2022, you got a man that literally has Natureboy, 3-guard, you know who I'm talking about, that literally has, I think it's like 6 men and 6 women at his feet. Like literally doing his feet. I could never be a part of that shit. If Dr. Malachi Z.york was on some shit like I'm God and I'm gonna take your woman and he's talking about my woman, I would have been like, man, fuck you. You ain't taking none of mine. That's why I'm saying, like, I followed him from afar. I was in a bookstore. Had I been on the land and Dr. Malachi Z.york was like, yo, you gonna live in this barn like everybody, all the rest of those men were, and you gonna eat oodles and noodles and do whatever, and you know what I'm saying, I ain't gonna pay you for shit for building these pyramids and all of the shit on this land and da-da-da-da-da, I would have been like, man, fuck you. Period. Let me tell you something. It didn't take me long to figure out that this motherfucker was a child molester. Straight up. I listened to the ones, the victims. And the victims' testimony was like, okay, they not telling any lies, at least in my opinion. Like, I wasn't brain dirty. I call it brain dirty, not brainwash. Brainwash means that you clean your mind. It's a cleansing of the mind. I wasn't brain dirty. These people out here still brain fucking dirty. They still believe the fucking lies that one man tells. That's telling. One man is telling those lies. Period. Everybody knows. Everybody that was close or that was on the land knows that Dr. York was up to no good. Period. But it's people that still follow him till this day. I don't understand it. Especially young people. I don't understand it. I understand that at the end of the day, we all have our insecurities, our things that we're going through in our minds. You understand? Lack of a role model, lack of a father figure, etc. The father not being there, the mother not being there, the mother and the father not being there. And you have to grow up on your own. And these men, you come across these men online, you know what I'm saying, such as your Dr.Yorks, your Young Pharaohs, your Dr. Umars, your Natureboys, and they know a little something. And they appear, you know what I'm saying? Well, as the Bible would say, as the Christians would say, that the devil is fair seeming. For real. So they appear to be good, but they're not. And you get involved. You become a member. You start dressing like them. You start walking like them. You start talking like them. And everything that comes out of your mouth, pause, are the words that are regurgitated from their ideology, whether it's carbonation, the Nubian nation, etc. And now they truly got you believing that you should think with one mind. And that one mind was created by or dictated by your Dr.York and your Natureboy. That you should no longer be an individual, which is not true. You should think on your own. You are God. And the minute that you realize that, you'll walk away from that bullshit. Like I did. Period. And if you don't walk away and you continue to follow these people, guess what? They're going to follow you. Excuse me. You're going to follow them into damnation. You're going to find yourself being a fucking slave to them. And that's a miserable life to live. Straight up. I see these people in combination, man, and I look into their eyes, man, and I can see that they're not happy. I can see that they're trying to get away. And it's easy as just walking out the door. Straight up. That man ain't got no power over you. Straight up. If you call 911, that man, and you tell the police officers, hey, listen, I'm being held captive and blah, 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 they will escort your ass out of the house. And Natureboy wouldn't be able to do shit but be a bitch, just like how he always is when the cops come around or when the white man comes around. He always talks about how the white man this and the white man that. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Malachi, z.york too. All these people always talking about how the white man in this, how white man is that, and da-da-da-da-da. Got a big chest sticking all out and shit, poked out like a motherfucker, right? They got all this masculinity, all this testosterone while talking about the white man, you know what I'm saying? But when the white man comes around, they fold like bitches. Straight up. When I seen that fucking video, the footage of Dr.York in court with his head down, looking like a fucking bitch, I already knew that ain't no fucking God. How the fuck you God? Let me tell you something. I've been to court numerous of times. I ain't never had my head down like I'm a little fucking puppy in front of no white judge. I always stood with my head up. And when he spoke to me, I motherfucking spoke with aggression. Yes. Fuck that. I'm not taking the masculinity out of my voice. I'm not taking the testosterone out of my body when I interact with a fucking white man. But that's how Natureboy is, and that's how Dr. Malachi z.york is.